Business means Cami Knight here on the set. Great to see you, Cami. As a NATO meeting got underway in Brussels, worries have been mounting in Europe over the bloc's ability to defend itself against Russia, with the US looking less and less likely to provide anything like military support.
That's right, and it's unclear what Trump's concrete plans are for Ukraine already. We know that he wants to end the war as quickly as possible and that he's growing increasingly frustrated about US spending on European defence. It's concerning for EU countries, all the more so with the publishing of a new study on Wednesday that shows that Russian defence spending exceeds all of Europe's combined. That's according to a think tank called the International Institute for Strategic Studies, which published the amounts on the basis of purchasing power parity, which adjusts for what currencies can buy in their home countries. Now, on that basis, total Russian defence spending soared to the equivalent of $462 billion, whilst European defence budgets, which included the UK, rose to $457 billion. Russia overtaking all of Europe is something new and adds weight to worries that Russia would be capable of attacking the continent once the war in Ukraine is over. The EU has been well aware of the problem for some time. Its current spending average stands at about 1.7% of GDP. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte calling on that to rise to 3%, and Donald Trump saying Europe should be spending 5% on defence. Either rise would see Europe overtake Russian levels. Now, the think tank that published the study says that for now, Russia can still bear the cost of war, but did also acknowledge the challenges it was facing. Take a listen.
In our assessment, Russia lost 1,400 main battle tanks in 2024, and over 4,000 since the full-scale invasion in February 2022. Russia also increasingly relied on North Korea and Iran for munitions and materiel.
Now, in other news, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has wrapped up a two-day visit to France on Wednesday with a jam-packed schedule that followed the AI summit that he was co-hosting in Paris. Now, for President Emmanuel Macron, the visit was an opportunity to get some legwork done in terms of business development and trade with one of the world's most important developing economies. Luke Schrago has more.
A smile for the cameras as Emmanuel Macron and Narendra Modi inaugurate a new Indian consulate in Marseille. But the French president has more in mind for the Indian leader: mutual cooperation in a politically changing world, as he explained on Tuesday after Modi's arrival.
We don't want to live in a world of confrontation between the US and China. But we don't want to be dependent on none of them. The axis between Indo-Pacific and European Union, I think, makes a lot of sense because it creates an area of cooperation between big powers.
Those areas include defence, with Paris hoping to sell Rafale fighter jets and Scorpène-class submarines to India's navy, as well as energy and technology. Macron toured an experimental nuclear fusion facility with Modi on Wednesday. Trade, though, may yet prove to be the biggest potential project. Both leaders discussed the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor, or IMEC, something Macron hopes will rival China's Belt and Road Initiative, with the southern city of Marseille proving to be the entry point for the entire European market.
Our country sells fewer products to this country than we buy from it. So the idea here is to take advantage of visits like this, to take advantage of our moment in the spotlight, to develop trade with these countries and redress the trade imbalance that we have with India.
Modi, though, might be hedging his bets. He set off for Washington later in the day for a meeting with US President Donald Trump.
Now, US inflation figures are out, and they showed inflation perked up more than anticipated in January. Consumer prices rose 0.5% for the month, putting the annual inflation rate at 3%. That's up 0.1 percentage point from December. Shelter costs continue to be a major problem, accounting for almost a third of the entire increase. And the latest data provides further incentive for the Federal Reserve to hold the line on interest rates. This despite Donald Trump on Wednesday calling for interest rates to be cut. Trump has no direct control over the Fed, but it's not the first time he's demanded a rate cut since returning to the White House. We end with Duolingo announcing the death of its green owl mascot, which has been taking the world by storm. The popular language learning app posted on X that the Duolingo owl was dead, changing its profile picture to this dead owl here. It's an ongoing saga that started on Tuesday, after which the app said officials were investigating the cause of death, and then later posting this video to X showing the bird being run over by a car. Now, we still don't have a clear explanation for this marketing strategy, but it could be that the owl has fallen victim to a corporate rebrand. And it's drawn reactions from across the world, including brands like Netflix or Assassin's Creed, pop star Dua Lipa even taking to social media to express her condolences. The latest one to join the bandwagon, though, is none other than the World Health Organization, that posted on X saying, "May your cause of death be identified ASAP," but that it couldn't be smallpox because that had been eradicated since 1980. Now, could this really be the end of the Duolingo owl? Want to watch, Mark.
What are you learning on Duolingo?
I tried Spanish for a while, but maybe that's why the
Spanish,
owls died.
Italian, Ukrainian, bit of Czech when I was going to Czech, to the Czech Republic, and Welsh because of Welsh heritage. So why not learn Welsh? You know, I'm not doing well in any of them, but I'm sure Cammie's doing far better than I am. You're far cleverer. Cammie Knight, thank you very much indeed. I miss the owl. I think the owl's really cool. I like the owl. You know,
We'll have to see. Maybe he'll resurrect.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Cammie Knight with business. Thank you very much. More from Cammie later, of course. Updating things all the time for us. We take a very short break. After that, there's more news. Stay with us.